Admiral's log. It's 0300 hours. I have just watched the last of our ships cast off. Normally, ships leave as their family is watching and waving. It's an emotional moment for both my crews and their families. Considering that now we are at war, the situation is entirely different. We've had crews quarantined to their ships for the last several days. Even the captains of the ships didn't know when the orders to cast off would finally come. Their harbors and docks have been completely locked down with the exception of logistics. I have set all this in motion to make sure that we maintain the element of surprise. By setting sail at night, I know I'm risking damage to the fleet through collisions and navigational errors. It will be worth it. With battle cruisers capable of reaching 40 knots, and the rest of the fleet sailing at 37 knots, we can be far away by the time that the enemy is inevitably alerted to the absence of our ships. I've ordered our ships to maintain blackout conditions until they're 20 miles away from their ports. This goes against almost all regulations, but it is a necessary risk. We will strike suddenly, hit hard, and be out of the area before the enemy is able to send reinforcements. Our fight starts today. Hey guys, Stealth here. Welcome to episode 2 of the Italian campaign. It is time to start throwing up our smoke and mirrors game. We only have 14 ships, but we're going to make it look like we have a lot more. I got 2 battles for you in this episode. First, we're going to hit a convoy with one of our destroyers. One of our light cruisers. This is the Coty. Alfa Romeo Giulia 6700 class, armed with 12 6-inch guns. Crewed by cadets. Fast light cruiser at 37.5 knots, and she's going to take on 2 destroyers, which is exactly the task that I had in mind for her. This is the D-12 and the D-26. These guys are armed with, a respectable amount of torpedo tubes, but not that many. Because, as we've seen in the previous campaign, if you watched that, I was facing British and French ships which were regularly armed with 20 torpedo tubes each. This time around, a couple of torpedoes on these guys should not be that much of a problem. And the real prize here is their convoy. That is what I'm really trying to kill. Now, let's see if we can get a radar return ping. It's all the way over here. So let's have a look at the Coty while she travels. She only has these 12 6-inch guns. Aside from that, she has no torpedoes. She relies on her speed and a modicum of armor to deal with destroyers and potentially murder a whole bunch of convoy ships. Firing range is 11 kilometers. She fires semi-armor piercing shells, and in case we're dealing with the destroyers, I think that should be quite nice. Because at a range of about 10, which is where we're going to open up, we do 2.5 inches of pen with, well, exceptionally good chances of mitigating a ricochet. So AP only, and we're going to save the HE for later. Reload on these guns is a mere 8.7 seconds, and we can just put a whole lot of firepower downrange. Sonar 3, I hope it's going to keep me safe. Let's just preemptively slow down a touch. And go a bit more broadside. Shoot this, and smoke up. This is what the Coty can do. Considering that these guys have minimum bulkheads, that was established as I was looking at the overview of what I'm fighting. I suspect that these guys are going to go down pretty easily due to flooding. Now, even with semi-armor piercing, I'm still overpenning these guys. But as they angle in, the ricochet chance should go down. And with that, my chances of getting a good pen should go up. Now, this one ran out of torpedoes. I think the other one also ran out of torpedoes. The thing is, yeah, this guy's out. Is this guy out as well? I'm still not 100% convinced that when I have the escort ships dead, that the transports also die. So what I'm considering doing is just eliminating a destroyer and then hoofing it out of here and going for the other targets, the transports. Partial pens. So we're getting either partial pens or over pens. That's great. Coty, come on. Flooding. There you go. Minimum bulkheads, you're in trouble. Partial pens. More flooding. Keep it up. I think we hit them somewhere along the stern or amidships. That'd be fantastic. Because with that flooding, they might just eventually go down. Overpens, 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 overpens. Do I really have that much pen? 2.5 kilometers. I have 8 inches of pen. Yeah, okay, it might be a bit too much. I have a bit of flooding going on my ship, but with the damage control parties in positions, it should be fairly quick to mitigate. Ah, hello convoy. That's what I'm looking for. We're going to shoot this destroyer. We're going to leave this destroyer alive. And we're just going to go after the convoy. Because unbeknownst to you as the viewer, I have already lost a couple of transports. I have my ships out there, but apparently the AI is still able to sink them outside of these battles. Scharfschütze D12 is, well, fighting for her life. And I can always come back to this guy later. What's the range on these? 12 clicks. Okay. We still have 1800 shells and 180 high explosive shells. Oh, this guy might go down. 7%, 10%. No. Come on. 2%. We're done. Okay, let's put some damage in on the Scharfschütze D26. I don't need that much on them. I just need to slow them down a touch. These things are a bit thin-skinned. That went right through my aft belt. Yeah. 0.9 inches against a 4-incher is not a good idea. Okay, turn a bit more. I don't want this light cruiser to be spending a lot of time out of commission. Overpen. Overpen. Really? And these are light shells, right? Yeah, they're light shells. I think I need to start mitigating or leveling the type of ammo that I carry. Because I just don't have enough high explosive shells on these light cruisers. Not if I'm facing another, what, 49 of these destroyers? They have a ton of these guys. Starting to get some ricochets on me. What sort of shell are you firing? 2 powder 3 TNT 3. Capped ballistic HE shells and semi-ballistic armor piercing. Yeah, so that's going to give you quite a bit of armor pen. 7 inches at this range. That's almost as good as my shells. Convoy in range? Oh yes. Switch fire. Ignore the DD. We're going to turn starboard. We can still run at 35 knots. They can run at 30 knots and they're flooding, so they're not likely to go anywhere anytime soon. Let's murder a convoy. Target practice. Let's see what these armor-piercing shells can do. Overpens. Oh boy. Ah, that's more like it. Okay, switch target. This guy's already drowning. This is a massive convoy, by the way. I think it was 17 transports. That is going to deal a pretty serious blow to the Austro-Hungarian economy. That DD is slowing down. 23 knots. At some point, I'm going to even be out of their range. 8.6 or 9.2, I'm already 7.4. Yeah, you can't catch me. What if I let you shoot AP? Is that going to be even more disastrous? Yeah, that's going to be even more disastrous. This is a great opening to this campaign. I like this. I am, however, getting shot at by some of these. Update by all of these transports. They're all the same type. And thus, they're all armed with 4-inch guns. But by God, this thing is committing murder. This is just unfair. Oh well, it's nice to be belittling the AI for once. still a few of them out there. How many have I taken down? 71% already. Hello. There goes another one. 3 more. End the battle. I don't think so, Sunshine. I'm going to take these guys down. And then we're going to move on to the more interesting battle, because there is definitely something bigger afoot. Something that involves a far larger fleet. As I'm wrapping up this convoy attack, I just realized that this ship on the top of the 6-inch turrets have room for further 2-inch turrets. That is probably a nice upgrade for this class, because with that it allows them to target even more guns on destroyers. And I know I can get into range, I know that they don't carry a lot of torpedoes, I just need a lot of firepower to get rid of these guys quickly. And the 6-inchers overpen, the 2-inchers probably won't. I might have to take off half a knot of speed, but then I can fit a bunch of 2-inchers which weigh next to nothing, and I can very quickly get a lot more firepower on these ships. So let's take this guy down. The rest of the convoy has been eliminated, and that's a fantastic opening to the campaign so far. For me, that is. The Austro-Hungarians are probably going to be fairly unentertained about how this battle started. Well, how this campaign started. Come on. Partial, partial, partial. It's either overpen or partial pen. There seems to be very little middle ground with these semi-armor piercing shells. Come on. Put them down. Done. Coty, getting the opening salvos of the war in and immediately dealing a devastating blow to the Austro-Hungarian economy. That's 366 victory points, but that's not counting the rest of the convoy yet. Because that too should give me a fairly healthy amount of victory points. There you go, 48 again. Now, very quickly, the light cruiser class. I know we have just fought 1 battle with them, but I'm already going to go for the refit. Because now I have a little bit of feedback on how these things do. I know that the semi-armor piercing shells against their destroyer enemy are not the best. So we're going to go for a standard ratio. And we're going to put these 3.8 ton secondaries on top of the 6-inchers. This thing won't fire at all? How is that? That's curious. This guy is perfectly happy, but this might have to deal with the rangefinder there. Okay, we have a bit of a 4-weight offset. If I put a couple of these midships, let's make them triples. Then I have a bit more firepower against the DDs, and thereby immediately, well, not necessarily immediately, but very quickly eliminate them. 37 knots. These things are going to fire, well, a mixture, I guess. AP could even be feasible on these. Let's give them a standard ratio. I got 1,500 shells per gun, so I got 1 there, 1 there, 1 on the stern, and 2 on the bow. All with pretty impressive firing arcs. I got a bit of displacement left. After that first encounter, I know that I need a bit more on the aft belt, probably. A bit more on the fore belt. Main belt was okay, I think. Superstructure a bit more. And aside from that, faster turret rotation would be great, but I'm already maxed out again. Alright, let's upgrade these things. Refit them. Hopefully a month, maybe 2. Ideally, I don't want to have these things out of action for too long. Refit everything. 7 months? Oh boy. That's not good. Okay, well that's great. I'm gonna have these guys out of action for 7 months. Right, while I'm doing maintenance on ships, let's get a couple more ships out there. I cannot build the new class? What? That's weird. Okay, ship design. View this. Not the Aventador class, but this. Copy that. And that is going to be the Alfa Romeo Giulia 6701. Highly creative, I know. You're welcome. This way I can start building these things. Probably going to take me 7 to 8 months to do it. What? Why can I not build a ship? Because this... See, I get this. This guy is a new class, or is a refit. This is not. This is just a new design. That's weird. Anyway, I want a new battlecruiser. I also want to get 2 new heavy cruisers. And yeah, I've got so much money coming in. We're going to go for a whole slew of destroyers. Yeah, let's make it 20. Why not? We got the cash. But I do want to get this light cruiser stuff sorted. Now, the trick was to just have these things not as a copy of the refit. That didn't work. Copy this, adjust it, and then I have the new class. So I want to get a couple of these guys built as well. 7 of them should do. Still 23 million in the plus, and that's good. I'm going to keep a bit of a margin so that I can fix ships up when I need to. Now, that killed just 2 out of the 44 destroyers that the Austro-Hungarian fleet has. So there is a lot more to be had. First, however, we have a battle between 2 task forces. The Regina, one of our Ferrari F1 class battlecruisers, the Fiat 12,000, the Alfa Romeo Giulia 6700, that's the light cruiser, and the destroyer, the Lamborghini Aventador 2000. Against the Chameleon, I think it's pronounced, Arethusa class battlecruiser. This guy is carrying 8 15-inch guns, 29 knots only. They cost 103 million to build, as opposed to my 153 million. 29 knots, far slower than my 40 knots. Their guns are far smaller than my 9 18-inchers. And they carry some torpedoes, but more of an afterthought. And then we got the heavy cruiser, Kaiser Karl 6 class, with, well, this is actually fairly reasonable for torpedoes. 2 quintuples and a couple of underwaters and 12 6-inchers. Shouldn't be too hard. I want the Fiat to engage this, I want the Regina to engage that, and we're going to start eliminating battle cruisers. Starting with this guy. Okay, here she is in all her pride and glory. The Regina. This battle cruiser displaces 37,000 tons, and as you can see, it's a really sleek ship. It's because it has minus 9% beam. 8... Why do I keep saying 8? 9 18-inch guns, firing semi-armor piercing shells. And they have a couple of 4-inchers as a defense against smaller craft. Of course, they can also use their heavy cruiser assistance, their light cruiser, and their destroyer. Now, the destroyer is armed with 21-kilometer range torpedoes, which immediately puts this guy almost in torpedo range. I also want to use the Lamborghini over here to scout. And I have to keep in mind that the Lamborghini is faster than anything else I have. Sorry, that the Regina, the battlecruiser, is faster than anything else I have. Range 26, which puts me in range. So we're going to open up. The heavy cruiser is actually too slow to follow. Yeah, you are going to have to follow / div up with the heavy cruiser. Avoid off. Just steady course. There we go. Opening salvo with the Regina. We're firing high explosive for now. And I really don't expect the first salvo to hit. You see what their range is? That's their torpedo range. Their gun range. It's not that good. Refuse to believe that. This is their 6-inch. Oh, it's because I'm looking at the heavy cruiser. 8-inch. Flagship near there. 24-kilometer range. The Regina just got into range of the enemy battlecruiser. I'm going to slow you down to build accuracy. What? You've already hit it? Holy moly, dude. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Interesting design, this. We got one turret very far forward, then another one on a barbette. flanked by a couple of, what is that, 8s? 8s. And then you got sort of similar on the stern, with I think a 7-inch dual barrel sitting between the 888s. This thing is a nightmare to, well, light cruisers, destroyers, heavy cruisers as well to some extent. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Give me the semi-armor piercing. I want to see what those do. And I really don't want to get too close, because I don't need to get too close. I have the range. You do not. Range is 19.3 against the DD, and I think the battle cruiser is engaging the destroyer now. Give me a solution on the battle cruiser. That way, heavy cruiser this way. Yeah, they are definitely taking an interest here. That's fine. Some stuff that I do not yet know about this enemy battle cruiser and the rest of their fleet is what sort of sonar array they use. So I'm going to have to wait until we have full identification on the ships to find that out. 21 kilometer range. You are... There we go. Torpedo salvo in the water. Hold off on the next. And your torpedo range was 13, so you're using standard torpedoes. Alright, good. What's your firing range? 14.7. We're going to wait until the battle cruiser takes a bit more damage before pushing in with the heavy cruiser. The heavy and the light are potentially at risk from these guns. And I don't want them to get too close. But the heavy cruiser here... That's the 6-inch guns. Ooh, that hit what? The heavy cruiser. The heavy cruiser also put torpedoes in the water. Excellent. But I'm not sure exactly what we targeted. Because they're both sort of semi-ID'd as battle cruisers. Okay, we're holding at 22.5. Excellent. Maintain pressure on the battle cruiser. I have detected torpedoes. Who has? You have. So your sonar is really good. If you can detect those torps at 1.7. And these are... Now they're oxygen. So yeah, they are pretty easy to detect, relatively speaking. And you will dodge that. That's fine. How many shells you carry? A lot. You got... Yeah, 37... Oh, actually, no. These are sneaky torps. These are electrics. Misidentification on my part. Apologies. That is not exactly in the same zip code. But then again, these are all cadets, so what do you expect? Why are we firing high explosive? We got the Italian semi-armor piercing on these guys. So fire semi-armor piercing. Chance to pen? 3%? That's pretty terrible. Okay. What's your chance to pen with the AP? 63%. That's more like it. Range, 21.7. You're still not taking an interest in my battle cruiser, so I can approach a little more. That's good. Partial pen. That's with the heavy armor... Sorry, the semi-armor piercing, not heavy armor piercing. Semi-armor piercing. SAP. You can rejoin. We are still inside of firing range. Kind of. No, we're not. We need to get 14 something. But this battle cruiser is still very much invested in taking shots at my heavy cruiser. I don't like that. Not one bit. It's dangerous. Go on. 2.9% chance to hit. Is there anything I can do to boost that? Yes, crew training, of course. The target fast speed's not helping. I wouldn't exactly call 29 knots fast, considering that Regina could do 40 knots. But okay. This is probably just going to take a while, because we're just very inaccurate. Both of us are. You got torps ranging 21.8. Good. Ah, partial pen. Setting a fire. This is the beauty of the high explosive effect, if you will, of the semi-armor piercing shells. They still have an opportunity to set a fire. Standard AP shells in this game very rarely do that. There, another fire. So fire for this ship is a sort of secondary effect. Also, normally I would not be firing high explosive, or sorry, I would be firing high explosive, I would not be firing armor piercing. But I suspect that with the Regina and her semi-armor piercing 18 inchers, I can pen this at this angle. The penetration chance that you see there, 67.9, is not, as far as I know, calculated with the ricochet angle in mind. But I could be mistaken. What is it saying? Let's see. Beautiful sound, those 18 inchers. You're taking shots at my destroyer now. Well, you are, somewhat. Let's see. Very angled ship. Partial pen. Oh boy. Oh boy. That was painful. That destroyed a main gun. At that extreme angle. These guns are no joke. 18.6 inches of armor? We're 13 clicks out. Yeah, I can pen 19.8 inches of AP. Or with AP. I don't think I hit him from above. No, I hit their main belt. Mostly. Surprising. Really. But I really like those semi-armor piercing shells. And you're going to see a lot more of them. If it's up to me. 13 kilometers out. They're still not engaging the battlecruiser. I bet they could do a whole lot of damage here. And if you're going by the rulebook, I'm playing this all wrong because the battlecruiser is far too close to the enemy. It is far closer than it needs to be. Humor me, high explosive. It's far closer than it needs to be. Let's see what this does then. DD is almost reloaded with torps. Partial pen fire. Not that impressive. I think our AP under these angles, semi-armor piercing, will do better. Ah, look at that. You've decided... That sounded pretty bad. You've decided to start shooting. Partial pen, ricochet. 10 clicks out. Damn. Pretty close. They have taken quite a bit of damage and are flooding. Or no, they have taken some flooding. They're not actively flooding. Range, 9.5. Partial pen. Get the Regina out of range. And torp it when you have it. Let's get these guys away. Smoke you up. What's shooting me? Yeah, 15-inch guns are shooting me. Locked. Partial pen. Turn away. Speed up. Get out of range. Or at least get to a safer range. Because I don't like this. The torps, I suspect will miss. Wait, you've already detected that? Hardly. You're most likely to be detecting other torpedoes. Because these are the torpedoes from the DD. I think you're just spotting the torps from the heavy cruiser. I just don't know where. Because I suspect that the Fiat... Yeah, the Fiat launched its torpedoes against the battlecruiser there. Let's go this way again. If the DD come round. If you guys come round. It looks like the battlecruiser has had enough. The heavy cruiser might get hit by a torpedo if they're not careful. Turning circle is 329. They're going to have to take action pretty much now. They are. They are. But is it enough? Yeah, it's enough. Okay. Now, with the chameleon, or however you're supposed to pronounce that, completely out of the way, and turning her stern towards me, she's essentially limited to just her secondaries and one of her 15 inchers. Oh, no, actually she's opening up again. Hold on. That did quite a bit of damage, and we did quite a nice amount of damage in return. Smoke up. This guy is starting to run low on high explosive. Biggest threat first. The chameleon has to go. You should start suffering from damage instability. Yeah, there you go, almost 10%. The heavy cruiser is starting to throw some lead that way. And has a 31% chance to pen? Wow. Oh. No aft belt armor. Very little forebelt armor. No aft deck. No superstructure. It's a glass cannon. I mean, most heavy cruisers... No, most battle cruisers are, but this is a whole new level. Damage to the main gun. With an 8-inch. Wasn't it? What the hell? You just torped me. Destroyed secondary gun. Where are you at? Why'd you stop shooting? Pen. Boom. Go on. We have a pretty good opportunity to deal a whole lot of damage here. Just don't use HE there. You can do better with your AP shells. Also, you don't carry a whole lot of HE, because you have not been refit yet. Focus this. Because they're now going to turn around. They're going to throw another salvo my way, potentially. Let's angle away. Can we pitch in with the battlecruiser here? Because I need a few good hits, and that heavy cruiser should cease to exist. 18-inch semi-armor piercing. 48% chance to pen. I'll take it. Oh, your fire control's damaged. Oh boy. Oh boy, no! You're not supposed to take torps. Because you cannot take torps. No! This just got all bad. I was not expecting the torps to run all the way over there. Oh dear. Now I gotta evacuate. Flooding has stopped. I lost one engine. I can still do a respectable 25 knots. But I have to get out of here. Because I only have 2 of these guys. One of them just took damage. That's going to put them in the dock for 8 months, I think. Ideally a little less, but I'm counting at about 8 months. And my accuracy just went right through the bottom. Oh boy. Carelessness. I should have had the Lamborghini over there escort them and use that sonar array of theirs to get the Regina to cover. But, you know what I play like. And I'm probably going to be getting all sorts of comments saying, oh, that was painful. Yes, it was. I should not have had the battlecruiser over there. I should have just stayed away and kept these guys safe. Let's see, can we keep this battlecruiser away from me? You got, what, 24 kilometer range. But your accuracy is also starting to wane quite a bit as we run away. Focus on the battlecruiser now. We might still be able to hit that since it's a substantially larger target. It's a much greater target. 2%. Oh well. Own speed. Still 29. We're still coming down from that extreme speed that we have. Turning circle. Does it turn? Yeah. It will, eventually. Just don't expect it to be soon. Partial pen. Very good. Very good. 3% chance to hit. Their accuracy is 1.5. Oh! 1.5, and they hit. Ah, well. I got what I deserved. Push in with a battlecruiser that has no torpedo blister. And you get torped. You're gonna have to face the consequences. Because that was two torps? One torp. One torp only, doing 1,800 damage. Got what I deserved. Here we go. Victory points, negative. Or well, I got 26, but I gave the enemy 139 after getting the Regina torped. Here's the thing. I like getting closer than I should because I want to see that accuracy go up. Shooting out over 20, 25 kilometers I think is just boring. Not only to play, but also to make videos of. But in this playthrough, I'm going to be forced to play a bit more like... Sorry about that. A bit more like that. Because otherwise I'm going to lose the very few heavy ships that I have. As for the rest, some light damage to these things, but otherwise fine. I worry about how long it's going to take to get this ship back in duty. Back in service. 5 months. Okay, it could have been worse. It is not as bad as I was thinking it would be. Alright. Well, that's it for this episode. You can voice your comments down below and yell at me at how bad I am at controlling my ships. And if you can do better, then you can get the game by getting it on Steam yourself. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more videos.